This is macOS Ken.
iPhone and iPad top the holidays, thoughts on what happened to Grindr in China, and a tiny bit of Apple history is headed to auction. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of February, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Since Apple does not say how many of what it sells anymore, one cannot officially say that iPhone crushed it last quarter. I mean, one can say that in terms of revenue, but not in terms of units sold. Not officially. Unofficially, though, iPhone crushed it last quarter. That is according to one set of numbers from IDC and another set from Counterpoint Research, both highlighted by Cult of Mac. IDC had Apple shipping 84.9 million iPhones over the holiday quarter. Counterpoint puts that number at 81.5 million. While the firms disagree on exact numbers, they do agree on a couple of things. First, they both say iPhone shipments slipped a bit from the same quarter a year earlier. And second, they still came out on top by a whole heck of a lot. Running down the IDC top 5, it was Apple in first, Samsung second, Xiaomi third, Oppo in fourth, and Vivo rounding out the top 5. As for the Counterpoint top 5, same again. Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo. For the full year, Counterpoint flips the first and second spots, giving the units shipped crown to Samsung for all of 2021. Then again, as Cult of Mac points out, Apple doesn't try to compete in some of the product categories its rival does, especially very low-cost handsets. While Apple's tablet kind of tanked last quarter, even a droopy iPad is enough to win the market. Apple Insider has more numbers from IDC, these covering the tablet space and the December quarter. The piece has the firm indicating that Apple was still far in front of other producers in terms of shipments, and its drop in units wasn't as bad as other major vendors. According to IDC, Apple shipped 17.5 million iPads in the December quarter. That was down 8.5% from the 19.1 million shipped in the same quarter a year earlier. Others did worse, with Samsung tablet shipments dropping 21.5% year over year, Lenovo dropping 25.5%, and Huawei dropping just under 14%. Props to Amazon for being the only tablet maker tracked by IDC to increase shipments. Theirs were up 1.3% year over year. As for market share for tablets in the December quarter, Apple was way far ahead with 38% market share. Samsung was second with 15.9%, Lenovo was third with 10%, Amazon was fourth with 7.9%, and Huawei rounded out the top 5 with 5.5%. As for the future of the tablet space, IDC is quoted as saying, though 2021 was a great year for the tablet market, shipments have begun to decelerate as the market has moved past peak demand across many geographies. However, shipments in the near future will remain above pre-pandemic levels as virtual learning, remote work, and media consumption remain priorities for users. Details today on the current Apple Watch trade-in bonus. As part of Apple's push for heart health during Heart Month, the company said earlier this week that it would offer extra savings in select countries for people trading in an older Apple Watch for a new one. Now we know how much and where. It's an extra $25 or the local equivalent, according to a piece from Mac Rumors. That report says the $25 Apple Watch trade-in credit is valid until the 28th of February in the U.S., Canada, the U.K., Italy, Spain, Germany, and the UAE. Apple allows customers to trade in Apple Watch models from Series 1 through Series 6, including Apple Watch SE. More information on Apple's trade-in program can be found on Apple's site. News of an annoying update for Apple Watch. Annoying because we don't know why we need it. It was less than a week ago that Apple released watchOS 8.4, focused on bug fixes and security updates. That one was. Now 9 to 5 Mac says Apple's out with watchOS 8.4.1, focused on bug fixes minus the security. A visit to Apple's security updates page says the update has no published common vulnerabilities and exposures entries. As for what it does do, Apple's release notes say watchOS 8.4.1 includes bug fixes for Apple Watch Series 4 and later. For information on the security content of the Apple software updates, please visit this website with a link to the security updates page. Kind of a funny joke that, since, as mentioned a moment ago, that security updates page says the update has no published CVE entries. The update is free. It is available now for Apple Watch Series 4 or later through the Watch app on an associated iPhone. Supposition around what the heck happened to Grindr in China. Yesterday we heard that the LGBTQ dating app was out of Apple's App Store in China, as well as Android app stores run by the likes of Tencent and Huawei. We also heard that it wasn't the app stores that had pulled the app. At least not in Apple's case, but it was Grindr's parent company that had initiated the removal. What we did not hear was why, though at least one site says it has to do with a relatively recent law in China. Apple Insider cites an Engadget piece that says the issue may be tied to China's restrictive new Personal Information Protection Law. According to the piece, China passed the Personal Information Protection, or PIP, the world's strictest user data protection law, in August of last year. The country has since been using the PIP law in a month-long internet purification campaign around China's Lunar New Year. Engadget says that China's PIP requires that cross-border data transfers go through China's Cyberspace Administration. Apple Insider says homosexuality is not illegal in China, but the LGBTQ+ community faces continued pressures, including occasional censorship. It's likely that Grindr users would not want their personal data seen by the Chinese authorities, but it isn't clear how much international traffic the dating app had. So that is the latest guess as to why Grindr is gone in China. Seems the only party to have said anything publicly is Apple, having made it clear that it was Grindr's parent company that pulled the app from the App Store, not Apple itself. Grindr's parent company has not publicly commented on the reasons for its removal, according to the report. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Not all work collaboration tools are created equal. Some help you organize your company's information, while others allow you to manage projects together. Notion does both. It is one tool for your whole team to do it all, so beautifully designed everybody will want to use it. And lots of companies you know do, like Pixar, Spotify, and Headspace. And they are sharing what they know. Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. That puts your team ahead right from the start. The product is getting better all the time, and you will always have the support you need. With powerful integrations and seamless navigation, you'll have everything you need in one place. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many folks as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today, again, at notion.so. News of a new drama for Apple TV Plus. The streaming service issued a press release Tuesday announcing a series order for Dear Edward, a 10-episode limited series based on the novel of the same name. According to the release, Dear Edward tells the story of Edward Adler, played by Colin O'Brien, a 12-year-old boy who survives a devastating commercial plane crash that kills every other passenger on the flight, including his family. As Edward and a diverse ensemble of others affected by the tragedy try to make sense of life after the crash, unexpected friendships, romances, and communities are formed. The show will serve as a sort of reunion for one of its producers and one of its stars. It's being written, showrun, and executive produced by Jason Katims, who worked on the series Friday Night Lights. The show will star Connie Britton, who also starred in Friday Night Lights. Taylor Schilling of Orange is the New Black will also feature. No word in the release on when it might hit the stream. Apple TV Plus has given folks a first look at the second season of Foundation. In a press release, the company said the monumental adaptation of Foundation chronicles the stories of 4 crucial individuals transcending space and time as they overcome deadly crises, shifting loyalties, and complicated relationships that will ultimately determine the fate of humanity. Lots of new cast members announced, not a single one did I recognize. I'm not sure if that's due to the troupe's international nature, the actors being young, or me being old. Whichever the case, production on the second season is underway. If you'd like to learn more, head over to Apple's site. News of a new show this spring for Apple TV Plus. The Mac Observer says the Cupertino streamer has started teasing the bilingual thriller series Now and Then. According to the report, Now and Then looks at the differences between youthful aspirations and the reality of adulthood. A celebratory weekend changes the lives of a group of college best friends after one of them ends up dead. 20 years on, a threat brings the remaining 5 back together. Kind of like The After Party, but less funny. Set in Miami, languages spoken, the show includes Spanish and English. No trailer yet, but there is time. The first 3 episodes won't hit Apple TV Plus until Friday, the 20th of May. You know how sometimes Apple does something so awful, you kind of hate it? Cult of Mac says the Cupertino company is suing an independent filmmaker for having the audacity to put the word Apple in the title of his film. According to the piece, the company filed a lawsuit against Ukrainian indie film director Vasyl Moskalenko, who wrote a comedy film titled Apple Man. It's not about computers, it's not about phones, it's not about technology at all. It's about a guy who can levitate apples. The fruit. Borrowing more from Marvel than Cupertino, the cult says the superhero satire features a guy whose DNA got blended with DNA from the fruit. Apple's in his DNA. Of course, deeper in Apple's DNA than most anything else is protecting the word Apple. Cult of Mac says Apple started legal proceedings against Moskalenko over concerns consumers could believe Apple Man is associated with or approved, endorsed, or provided by Apple, the company said, in a 467-page court filing. Moskalenko calls the lawsuit trademark bullying, especially since the film has nothing to do with Apple Inc. He's worried that what's left of the $120,000 he raised on Kickstarter to complete the film will be eaten by legal fees instead. Cult of Mac says the filmmaker hopes to make peace with Apple. Moskalenko has also posted a video to Santa on YouTube asking for help. Meanwhile, the report says Apple has made no statement about the case. And finally today, another bit of hard-to-find Apple history is headed to the auction block. Apple Insider says RR Auction is selling a 1979 business card for Steve Jobs. The card lists the co-founder as Vice President, Operations at Apple. The card's got that groovy, all lowercase font that begs me to go find my Star Wars toys. It's also got an embossed Apple logo. According to the report, YouTube personality Alfred de Blasi is auctioning off a Steve Jobs business card from 1979 that he received from a friend in 1980. It has been preserved in plastic and kept in storage over the years, and de Blasi recently discovered it in storage. What's really cool about it being sold by a YouTuber, he made a video about it. In it, he jokes that the card is worth billions. He plans to use those billions to update his kitchen. Billions is, of course, an overstatement, though there really is no telling how much this thing could go for. We will find out on St. Patrick's Day. Apple Insider says bidding will start in the middle of February. The auction is set to close on the 17th of March. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.